One of the problems is people tend to forget that particularly with the conditions we had this morning, you can't tell if your tires are really, straight on the asphalt on the road. There's ice, it's slippery. There's also the other drivers that you have to watch out for. I was driving on the road this morning and I noticed a couple of vehicles in the ditch, and they probably had no reason to end up in the ditch over there. Among the most frequent situations we see are people that are following too close, and also people who do not clean up their cars. Those extra couple of seconds can really make the difference between a collision or no collision. Looking back at my years at the traffic division with Montreal Police, mornings like that, it was always the festival of fender benders. Everybody gets into a small collision, and I know that the limit date for snow tires, people have until December 1st. With that being said, it doesn't mean that you have to go on the road. Keep in mind that if you do not have winter tires, uh, try to avoid going out as much as you can unless it's strictly necessary, because what happens is the tires, the colder it gets, summer tires, the gum of the tires, the rubber gets hard, and there's not as much adherence, so that could be dangerous. As far as the date, I am often asked, okay, what's a good date? Maybe should we move it forward, backwards? It's always hard. The province of Quebec is very wide province. It's very big. If you live north of Saguenay or Bécomo or Côte-Nord, maybe the date should be further. The situation we have this morning is quite unusual. So it's a bit hard to decide exactly. It's not rocket science, but normally we should try from the moment, let's say the end of October, beginning of November, temperature starts to get a bit chillier. Maybe it's a time to at least make sure that your appointment is taken. Definitely, it's good for mentioning it. Having winter tires is not going to make you invincible, and we see it. Unfortunately, we see it a lot in the winter on the highways with people with SUVs. Uh, they go faster because they have SUVs. One thing I could tell them, there is one thing they could be sure of, is they'll go further in the ditch than non-SUVs. That's about it. And unfortunately, we see some of them. It's quite sad to see those situations.
Else?
Slow down and also evaluate your situation. For example, if there's no one behind you, you could sort of like very slowly press on the brakes so you'll notice if there's adherence or not. So if you press very slowly on the brakes and immediately you feel your anti-lock braking system, going taka taka, well, you know that it's because you have no adherence. That means a yellow flag. Be careful. It means that if you brake, you'll be stuck. Also, avoid whenever it's slippery, avoid any sudden maneuvers, because what happens, particularly in curves, when you're in a curve, if you start sliding, at some point, no matter how much you brake, how much you stir, you're going to keep on going in the direction you initially started to. So avoid locking your wheels. And normally, the best thing to do is, if you can, if you see you're sliding, put the car in neutral and brake, but by little shots. So what happens is you stop your wheels, then you can regain control, stop them a bit, regain control. I know it's something that could be easier said than done if you've never practiced that, but it's good to condition yourself and think about it ahead of time. So basically, don't follow too close. Make sure, measure your adherence, and ideally, if you do not have winter tires with the conditions we have, avoid traveling.